when I had some kind of order, let's say 50 items, or when you start to get along, you can sleep on the bed and you can go out and maybe even have a mobile phone or something. So everything's kind of in order. And then you're like, okay, from now on, the 54th and the 55th to the 56th item, that's actually not going to change my life at all. You can have these kind of small, pleasures or things. There aren't many items that actually change us. They might, so we might be able to do some things or leisure or hobbies or something. But when it comes to personality and happiness and how you perceive your own life, there ain't really really much to do with stuff actually. I'm Petri Luukkainen. I'm a filmmaker from Finland, and I share hope. I hope.
Welcome to I Share Hope, the podcast where world leaders share their real stories of hope and how you can use actionable hope to start changing your life today. And now, here's your host, Chris Williams.
Yep, there you go, man.
Okay. How's the sound quality? Are you recording?
Yeah, the sound is beautiful. It's perfect right now, yeah. It's pretty good to get video and sound at the same time. Where are you located? Are you in what?
I'm at my home in Helsinki.
Okay, yeah, you must, the internet connection seems really strong. How about on your side?
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Wi-Fi. I have a window open, but if the sound is okay.
Oh, the sound is great. I can't even tell there's any noise in the background.
Okay, maybe I close if there comes a bus. Just a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay,
my mic on my laptop is busted, so I have to use the iPhone. But if it works, and if there's no humming on the sound, then I don't even have to use my headphones.
No, it sounds really good. In fact, I'm surprised because I do a lot of these interviews, and most of them are Skype, and usually there's a lot of noise with the laptop if there's not a headset attached to it. But the iPhone, man, that's quiet as can be. You sound perfect.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
it's actually a good experiment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I know. Yeah.
You let me get your last name right. So, is it Petri? Is Petri the right way to say your first name? I just lost your video, by the way.
Yeah.
Just lost that video feed. Are we still up?
Up. Yep.
Okay. Is your phone going to sleep on you?
No, this came some kind of calendar mark or something. So let's hope nobody calls me or anything.
Yeah, we can cut it out if there is. It's no big deal, or we can leave it. It's kind of fun being real.
Yeah. Do you record the video as well?
Yeah, so we do both, and we're finding we haven't launched any of these on YouTube yet, but from what we can tell from asking our fan base questions, they want them on YouTube. They want to we want to watch the interview too, because you just get so much more out of seeing somebody's face. I mean, you know that you're a video guy,
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting to my notes here to make sure that and your last name, say that the right way.
Petri Luukkainen.
Wow. Petri Luukkainen.
Petri Luukkainen.
Luukkainen.
Yeah.
Am I even close?
It's close enough.
I'm not close, huh? All right. So I'll make sure we have fun, and I won't butcher your name too bad, I promise. All right, let me just get back here to my notes real quick because I need to make sure I get some markers on where we start and stop here. Hang on. I'm really excited about this interview, but I'm not saying much yet because I don't want to ruin what would be great for the real interview.
Yeah, actually, I put the camera in, just a moment. I put it slightly better. I put it in a slightly better position, so then I don't have.
So you don't have to be. Okay, yeah. I love the pictures in the background. Are you a still photographer and a painter as well?
No. My future wife is my fiance.
Nice. They're great.
Maybe we keep them there, or.
At least get them a little bit in the background so everybody can see them. Yeah. Man, those are awesome. No, I do the same thing when I'm doing this stuff. So check this out. Like I'm sitting here, table in the backyard, laptop sitting up here. I mean, you just got to rig it and make it work.
Yeah.
Okay, so Petri, you've got this this documentary that I've only seen the preview for, and now I'm really curious about. Are you still in the middle of this documentary year, or is it over?
No,
Okay.
no. I mean,
Is that a few
in
years
a
ago?
way, I think that kind of like experiments, they go on for your life, but the actual kind of, I kind of see it as a project, and I also see it as a film. So the film was filmed during my project in 2011. I think, 2011, okay. And then the film was edited in 2012, and it came out 2013, and so now it's a couple years ago already.
Okay. Wow.
But
okay.
Of course, still the process is ongoing, more or less, because it's my life.
Okay, so I want to hear more about this, because you've got this documentary that you've done where you gave up, and this one's kind of near to my heart, because I love the minimalistic idea, and I love the idea of getting away from all this junk that we have that distracts us from the most important things in our lives, the relationships, and just experiencing life in a better way. So if I get this right, you took a year, and the day one you got rid of everything in your life that was material. So all material possessions out, literally everything, literally the last pair of underwear. You put it in a storage unit, and every day for a year you could take one item out. So if you wanted to brush your teeth, you could get the toothbrush or the toothpaste, but you couldn't get both. And you had to decide if you wanted underwear or if you wanted a blanket to sleep under the first day. I mean, stuff like that, right? The real thing. You went all in.
Yeah. That was the rules.
And to make that even more fun, your apartment was not next to the storage unit, so there was a little bit of crossing town and crossing the street going on for the first couple of days that were a little bit embarrassing.
So I made up these kind of rules that I'd take everything into a storage unit, and I could bring back one item back per day, and I would do that for a year, and I would not be allowed to buy anything. And then during the year, I have to buy food. So that was kind of excluded. But that was the kind of rules, and the initial kind of project that I had in mind, it was not like a really clear, this kind of concept with the rules, and I would make a film. It was more like I was kind of figuring out kind of what do I need in life, and what do I want to do with my life, and I was maybe in the most happiest place at the time. And I remember that there's this storage unit, like it's 1 kilometer out of from my home, and somehow it just, I really didn't think about it, but it just made perfect sense that I would just get kind of rid of my things to kind of, I don't know, be born again or reboot my life, or I don't really remember what I was thinking at the moment, but it made perfect sense so I started packing my things into these boxes and transporting them to the storage. And at the time, then I had this idea that, because I'm a beginning filmmaker, and I was like, hey, this would actually make a quite nice kind of movie as well. And then how it became a film was because it was a perfect excuse to explain it for other people, that, you know, if you're taking your stuff into storage and you're starting off naked in your apartment, running around in the middle of the winter, and you know people think you are crazy. So when I explained it to my mom or anybody, I would say, I'm making this documentary. So everybody was like, I understand. So it was a good excuse, to do something radical because you're filming it.
That's so fun. So anybody that's out there, it'll be on iShareHope.com on the show notes page for Petri. Petri, say your full name in your accent, because it's fantastic.
Petri Luukkainen.
Love it. If you look up Petri on iShareHope, Petri, you'll find a link to the video, the preview for sure, and then where you can find the full documentary as well, because it's awesome. I died laughing the first time, and then after about 30 seconds when I got done laughing, I was like, oh my goodness, this is brilliant. Like, this guy's really doing it. So well done. Well done. So what projects are you working on now?
At the time, the film is going around the world, so I'm actually been going around the world, traveling and talking about the film. And so,
Wow.
in a way, I'm still kind of reflecting on the same kind of topics, and I'm still kind of living my everyday life. So that kind of project is still going on, even though it's not been filmed. And then I'm also now working on another film. It's more a little bit like a music film, but I think it's more about kind of my generation in Europe or something. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's called The Never Ending Dream, the film. And yeah, so
That's great.
I'm working on a new film, and I think I actually have to write a book about my experiences during the year or something, because I've actually noticed, as now talking to you as well, I mean, somehow our belongings and the things we own at the time, they interest a lot of people. So I think, yeah, maybe I should write a book. I don't know. I'm not a writer. I'm a filmmaker, but but I would hate to do a sequel. I don't want to do like my stuff too, or you know, I think for a while I've had enough of filming myself.
You should do your stuff too, and it should be just a satire, and you could be living like a billionaire with a huge house and a basketball court inside, and all that stuff. Like you totally went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Well, let me ask you these questions. So we're interviewing 1,000 people around the world who are telling stories about their own life, and this is your time. So there's nothing scripted here. You and I haven't talked about this before now. And I think you've been given the list of questions there. And the questions are very simple. I'll ask the 5 questions about hope, and you can just answer them any way you'd like. So question 1, what's your definition of hope, or your favorite quote about hope? How do you think about hope?
What just kind of comes into my mind, I think hope is, I think it's some kind of a driver for me, or maybe to all human beings. I mean, you have to have hope in order to live, I think. I mean, if hope is taken away from you, at least, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to live in Finland, and quite kind of easygoing life. I'm in a position that where I can, I can do self-experiments with stuff or with whatever, and I kind of feel secure in my life, so that I'm able to do that kind of things. And but how I kind of feel about hope is that I'm allowed to, I'm allowed to hope for something in my life, or hoping, or I'm a little bit thinking the word hope is a little bit similar, like with the word dream. So I think that's some kind of, I mean, hope or dreams are some kind of maybe fuel for humans that, that kind of keeps you going. And another thing that comes from hope is, I was talking to one person also about climate change, and because many people, some people kind of deny that there's a global warming, or some people don't care, or somebody's trying, to work on so that we would have or our kids or grandkids would have still a place where to live. And some people are saying that, it's like past the 2 degrees and the whole world is, it's fucked, it's I mean, it's gone. It's just like we've already put too much carbon out there. And then one person said that, having no hope, in climate change, that means that you don't have any morale, that you should have hope that, there is hope for, let's say, for mankind. Just a moment. Maija, mulla on tässä se haastis menossa, niin mä voin saada tämän oven kiinni. Niin. Yeah, my fiance came home. Yeah, so...
She's welcome to join the conversation. I hate to keep her out.
yeah, but I think, yeah, I mean, I also think hope as a, like, it's quite big to say, like, hope for mankind, but I mean, when I think about climate change, I get quite anxiety, or I'm trying to, limit my carbon footprint, or I'm thinking how could I, change the world with the things that I do, or and for that you need to think that there's hope.
Yeah.
So that's just like kind of how I see
Great.
hope, I guess.
Great way to see it. Great definition. I think that makes a lot of sense. Hope really is tied to the morale, or the way we feel like we have a chance to make it better, get better, whatever. And climate change is a great example of that. And there's a lot of things, obviously, in our personal lives that we need that hope, or that positive outlook on, to think, at least to believe that we can make some difference here. So, number 2, who's shared the most hope with you? Who in your life, who's, back there, that's really given you hope?
I think it's probably my mom. I would guess. I think I don't really have some kind of specific, memories or kind of ideas that I think, how about my upbringing. But I think I'm a kind of a guy who, I think I dare to dream, or I'm quite hopeful, in a way, or so I think that must have something to do with my mom and the way I was raised, and maybe in some sense the society that I live in, but I don't actually think so much about when I'm kind of like, I think the most hope I get out of is actually from art, from music or movies or something. Whenever I kind of feel that, something touches me, deep inside, I go to a concert, or I go to the movies, and I see something that's brilliant, or touches me, or moves me, and afterwards I feel like the whole world is open. I mean, you can do whatever, you feel good about yourself. Tomorrow's gonna be great, and you're not stressed out, or you don't think, can I do this? So I think in general, I think I get most out of hope from movies and music. I think those are probably the more art forms that kind of speak to me.
That's great. Your mom, music, and movies. Love it. You got 3 M's going there. That's really good, and I think it's a great story about your mom too. I think there's got to be some connection to that. They have such an impact on our lives. They really do.
Yeah.
So, when was a time, for question 3, when was a time in your life when things were dark and you really needed hope? And I mean, right now you look like, man, this guy's got a documentary going. He's out speaking all over the place. He's traveling around telling his story. But I mean, has it been hard? What was it like when it was hard, and how'd you pull through?
Well, before I kind of, speaking of my documentary, speaking about my life, I think it was 2010 or something, before I did the experiment. So yeah, I mean, I was lonely, and if I now kind of reflect back on the beginning, so I did a human experiment about my stuff. So I was a guy who was thinking that his biggest problem in life is that he has too much of things. He owns too much possessions, and he's so sad about that he has so many things that he has to decide what does he really need, and that sounds a little bit sad, and to kind of like say it out loud now, and but I've been reflecting on, of course now it's easy for me to say because I kind of came through the project, and I hopefully have learned something out of it, and I made a movie about it. So it's actually during during the year and the experiment, it was not like public, or so I did the project and I did the filming and everything, and then afterwards it was released. So this was more like a diary. It was not like a blog that was online. So yeah, everything wasn't okay when I went into the project, and I think at the time, I I think for my personality, probably I thought that there is hope. So as I mentioned before, I think hope is a kind of a driver, or is some kind of fuel for the soul. So I think yeah, I probably haven't been to a place where there wasn't hope. But I think when I was in a kind of a lonely spot in my life, and I was, try to, fulfill my needs with things that, you know, weren't proper, like consuming, or, diving into just hobbies or something, probably I was, just, missing love and understanding, and the basic stuff. So yeah, I think that that's the kind of like a dark point, or the period for me, was that I wasn't kind of, somehow I wasn't able to be honest to myself. So I was probably just kind of consuming, because I was missing love, or I was probably doing too much work, probably because I was lonely.
Yeah.
Or so I think I was kind of missing some kind of honesty or self-reflection in my life, and somewhere, I'm not totally sure where it kind of came. I kind of had some kind of like awakening, is a little bit like a stupid word, but kind of what I kind of did, or how I kind of came out. Maybe I had some kind of hope, or some kind of longing for something, and then I decided that I will, take some time, and I will figure my life out, or I will do something. And what I did, I decided to put my stuff in the storage, and so I think the kind of, in a way, a stupid way to say, I think the way out was kind of giving time to myself, just sit down, shut up, and think about yourself and do something. And I think I think that's, and not just, probably just like, I'm not, for me, I think I don't work like that I would just like sit and think, and kind of like philosophy, or have like some kind of philosophy about my life, and just think. And I think I need to do something. So I think it's quite easy to, I don't know, cut your hair, or put your stuff into storage, or move to another town or something. I think these kind of clear changes, they kind of, they help you out. So
yeah, I think it's interesting you mentioned your relationships and loneliness a lot in that section of life, and or lack of relationships, I guess, that you were alone. And then that's a big deal. I think relationships are so important, and we take them for granted, and so many of us leave relationships that are great and may just need a little work. But not that you did that. I'm just saying there's a lot of people who leave relationships and they don't realize how important those relationships are going to be if they could work through something. Because when we get lonely and we get kind of desperate, and then I also think it's interesting that that you mentioned the action. I'm that way too. I want to do something, but my wife is different. She's more of a philosophical thinker, and she needs to think things through for a long time before she thinks, oh, that's the right change to make. And she probably makes wiser changes because of it, but I'm kind of the same way. Cut my hair, or change my lifestyle drastically, or do something. I gotta shake it up,
Yeah.
But that helps clear my head.
Yeah. And I think about like kind of when you mentioned like kind of relationships. I mean, I've been actually thinking quite a lot about it because I had friends, and but probably I was just probably missing like a partner or something, or so I was missing a girlfriend, or but I've been also thinking that during the experiment, the year that I did, I was single and I was lonely, and I met my girlfriend during the year, and I kind of like, of course, altered my life quite a bit. And I was wondering because it, life, I mean, what would have happened if I would have not met my girlfriend? Would have been just so that I would have been just miserable and single, and I was like, "Oh, like it can't be like that. That we just have to have a partner because it just doesn't work always like that." And so I've been thinking, and I was thinking, but I had my friend, so how was I so lonely? And so I think it kind of boils down to kind of, in a way, saying that you kind of gotta love yourself, and I think that's the kind of way to if you kind of love yourself, or accept yourself, I think then it's much more easier to relate to other things in life. And I think when you go into a relationship with a girlfriend, or you get married, or I think then it's just so much easier to love yourself because there's someone else loving you all the time, so it makes it easier. So I think I think when I think about the loneliness and stuff, I think there's something to do with. I know nowadays I'm thinking when I'm talking about love, or I'm thinking about love, I think it goes kind of both ways. It's just not that you're loving somebody and somebody's loving you. I think it's some kind of a round that you have to love yourself. I think that's where it starts.
I think you're right. I really do. You're right. You got to fix you before you can fix somebody else, or fix you before you can bring somebody else into your world, because otherwise you just mess them up too,
Yeah.
Good reflections. Thank you. So question 4 is, how are you sharing hope today? What do you do in your daily life to share hope with somebody else?
Well, I mean, I am a filmmaker and somewhat doing kind of public work. So I think through my films or through other videos or something that I do, I think that's a great way so I can express myself, and making films and videos. I mean, that's a public thing. So there's I think there I can influence a lot of people, or if I'm not trying to say anything, I have to know that people are getting influenced by the work you do. And so I think that's
That's great.
creativity. I think creativity is, but I'm also thinking, a couple of days ago I went to have lunch with my friends, and in Helsinki, where I live, and the girl at the counter, when I was paying my lunch, she was like, "Hey, aren't you the guy from the documentary that you put all your stuff away?" I mean, I'm not like super celebrity, but sometimes people my age, the film was somewhat of a phenomenon, so people recognize me sometimes. And she was like a little bit younger than me, and she was like, "You're from the film," and blah blah blah, and yeah, I loved your film about. And then she said, "I'm also thinking that I probably might go to that school, but I didn't get into that school, or I didn't," started talking about herself, and I didn't ever. I tried like billion times, but I never got into a film school, or I'm more like self-learned, and I when I was younger, I just probably wasn't. You could not take me into a film school. I probably wasn't good enough at the time. So I've more or less had to learn myself, and through work or with my friends. And then when she was talking at the counter, I really felt that I had to say like, "Yeah, you didn't get into the film school. Don't worry. I tried a million times. I didn't get into film school either, and you've seen my film, so it's great. It doesn't matter that you have to get into the film school to be able to make films." And I think these are the kind of small kind of sharings, or ways to share hope, or share your stories, or something that kind of you know, or you sit in or you sit in a bus and somebody's telling a story or something, and then you just comment to the story, or you laugh, or you clap, or you do something that's slightly out of the ordinary. I think those are the kind of, you know, little kind of sparks that give, you know, energy and, you know, keep things going.
I think you're absolutely right. Good examples. It's just human on human, you know? It's just being a real person. That's really cool. I think it's fun that you're getting recognized out there too, especially from your documentary, because that film's got a great start. So she's like, I think you're the right guy, but I don't know. I mean, you got all your clothes on, so I can't really tell if you're the same guy or not. All right, question 5. Some simple steps for people like me and our listeners who may be trying to learn how to be more hopeful and change their life to be a little more hopeful, or that they're trying to just engage their community and share hope. What are the ABC steps, kind of those 1, 2, 3s of where do we start sharing hope? What do I do next?
Well, as a person who's going through like a kind of like a radical lifestyle change and experiment and everything, I think it might seem that when you hear about my project or see the trailer, there's all these rules and blah blah blah, and there's a film. It might seem that, you know, I had some kind of big idea, like lightning struck and everything was clear, and I'm, you know, super talented, and then I decided to do something, and it was not like that. It was more that I think a way is, you know, kind of start to share hope or something. You don't have some kind of idea or method or something that would be just like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I think really rarely it comes like that. For me, it happened so that I had the idea to pack the things to the storage, and during the packing I had the idea of filming, and then I had the how should I proceed, then I had the rules, and it kind of developed during, and now it's been developing through many years. So I think the key kind of point was that I kind of decided to change my life. So I kind of made a decision, you know, start doing something. I think that's, and at the time it wasn't so clear. So I think if you want to start a blog, or if you want to save the world, or it doesn't matter how big or small the thing that you're going for is. I think the important thing is to kind of start doing it and kind of commit yourself, even though if you only have like some kind of direction or some kind of vague idea. But I think it's important just to start and say yourself, you know, okay, I'm doing this, and then see how it goes, and let the kind of journey teach you. Because it's like if you want to make a film, or if you want to make a record or write a book or something. I mean, maybe writing a book would be easy. You know, you maybe having some kind of an idea, and then you just have to start writing.
Sure.
And then and I think many times when I think about my life or something else, or climate change or whatever, it always seems so distant, and it seems so hard. I think, you know, am I really up for this or something? So I think it's the kind of first thing is just to kind of, you know, decide, you know, the direction or the kind of goal you want to go towards, and, you know, just commit to it. I think it's in a way it's easiest that, because, you know, who knows what's going to happen on the journey, or who knows what you're going to learn, or in 6 months or 3 months or 1 year or 5 years, you're going to be a totally different kind of person, and you're going to know a lot more than you know now. So yeah, I think it just, many things are just a matter of starting. It's not a matter of knowing what to do, really.
That's good advice. That really is. And it really is. Just to start something, start moving, and keep taking a step. I mean, that's all you did. And it's a great point, because you really do. You know how it is. You look at somebody who's already down the road a few years, or already has their project out like you do. And I mean, there may be other new and aspiring filmmakers listening or watching our interview later, and they think, well, yeah, but I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. You've already done it, and now you're getting recognition. Where in the world? But you just, like you said, it was kind of a journal. It wasn't your big plan, and you just started. And there's so many other things in life like that too. We just start.
Yeah. And when it comes to my film, of course, I've been practicing with films and with the tools and with my ideas for, like, let's say 15 years. But when I'm talking just about the project that I did with the human experiment, I mean, I think that was like 2010, and now it's like 5 years back. Mm-hmm. And now I'm thinking, okay, now the pieces are falling. You know, now when I'm talking to you at the moment, it kind of feels somehow that I know what I'm talking about. You know, there's some things, and you know, yeah, that reminded me. You know, so it's it's always you should just trust yourself that you have it in you. You just, if you kind of know a clear way where to go, and just start.
Yeah, love it. Good advice. Okay, so let's take a quick break in the audio. So we'll cut this section out, and I need a few quotes from you. So somewhere in the middle of this, I'm going to make sure I get this marker about 35 minutes in. That's good. Somewhere in your audio, we'll find a clip or two. They're just awesome quotes. You've just said some really great quotes. I don't know if you've even heard yourself say all these, but we'll pull one of those really great quotes to start the audio episode with, and then it'll say your name and I share hope. So I just need to get a clean recording of you saying your name, and I'm a filmmaker, or whatever you want to call yourself, and I share hope. Okay? So I'm going to put mute on mine so you can say it however many rounds you want to try. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. I'm Petri Luukkainen. I'm a filmmaker from Finland, and I share hope. I hope.
I love that. Okay, that's perfect. That's good. I love the humor. So, man, just random questions then. So you're in this, doing the documentary, and I mean, you're literally running out your front door, and I mean, your hand's the only thing you got for clothes, right? So, and you're a kilometer away from the storage unit? I mean, did you bump into anybody on the way? Did you stay in back alleys the whole time?
It actually was my friend's idea, because, you know, I'm thinking, like, should I leave, like, first idea was to leave 1,000 items, and I was thinking, oh man, if I would leave 1,000 items, could I leave, or 100 items? That would be so little. Could I live like that? And then when I started counting the items and doing the list, I was like, it's so difficult to decide, you know. And then I was, okay, the decision process is actually the most where I'm gonna learn something. So could I start from 10 or from 0? And then my friend was like, yeah, you can start from 0, and you just run to the storage naked in the middle of the night, so no one's gonna see you. But and then in the end, when I actually end up doing it, still kind of sometimes I kind of it feels really. It's not me who did it. It's the guy in the film. Now when I'm talking, if you would say, like, okay, next night you have to go and run naked through this town, I was like, nah, not for me. You know? But of course there was actually a guy, you know, bring the newspapers, and there was some, you know, couple persons walking down from a bar or something. So there were people, and there was actually the police were at one crossing.
Oh, wow.
It's not in the film, but they crossed the street there. But, you know, normally if you see something like that, you know, you see some guy, it was like minus 30 degrees in the winter. It was like freezing cold, snow everywhere, and then you see a guy running naked, and you're like, what is happening? But then there was the cameraman. They're filming something. It must be, everything is probably okay.
Everything's fine.
So,
they got a camera.
yeah. So it was, and the police also came, and they were looking. Yeah, and they, okay, everything good? Yeah, okay, and they continued. You know,
awesome.
Because the camera has that kind of a effect, similar as I explained probably earlier, like when I was explaining to people that I'm doing this kind of experiment, or I didn't tell anybody. Maybe just the closest persons, you know, my closest friends and my family just knew that I'm doing it. I actually didn't tell anybody during the whole project that I'm doing, because I kind of wanted to keep it kind of normal, or I didn't want people to be thinking that I'm some kind of weirdo, or I don't have any things at my apartment. And that was kind of part of doing some kind of experiment or adventure within my everyday life as well. So, but when I got into trouble, or when I was explaining it to a friend for the first time, then I would always say that I'm filming it. So then a camera, okay, it's all good.
It's normal if you got a camera.
It's funny. Like, I don't know, with mobile phones, if you're taking a selfie, or if you're talking to yourself and you're recording while doing something really slightly strange. So maybe, I think it kind of gives that kind of extra angle, or
it's a good point,
or performance, or something. If you see a guy doing something really strange on the road, but then you see he's all the time filming and talking to his iPhone or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that kind of, it gives some kind of a reason, or probably he knows what he's doing, or
that's a good point.
It's strange. I think.
There's another documentary there.
Or if you, I mean, I don't kind of, or if you kind of want like a little bit like an extra push, you want to kind of commit to something. Of course, it's easy to become a vegetarian or something, or if you start a blog about it, or if you kind of tell it to your friends, like, okay, I'm trying to be a vegetarian for 1 month. So it kind of gives this kind of superficial rule, or some kind of so people are kind of expecting something out of it, or maybe asking you, like, in 1 week, how has it been?
Yeah,
you've been vegetarian now, what, for 1 week? So it's good.
You got another documentary to do there, man. You could totally just do one that was off of all the crazy things you can do with permission while you have a camera.
Yeah. Rob a bank. And
Exactly. Rob a bank
that's
naked.
How the film is. That's how the film is going to be funded. We just robbed the bank.
Yeah, and here's the video of the 7 banks we robbed in front of the police with our camera, and it worked out great. Yeah.
That is true.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so last question for you then, or maybe next to last. What you got back in your storage unit where all your stuff is, and you've gone through 100 days or so, and you're kind of getting some life back maybe. But when you look back over the year, is there anything you say, the dumbest thing I did was on day 5, I picked this one item, and I really learning how this works. I should have gone for this. Did you get the priority order right the first time, or did you look back and say, I should have gotten that?
I mean, not really. I mean, actually, many people ask me about some kind of specific items, or what was the most important or the least important something. But I don't actually remember almost any of the items, or somehow my mindset has totally moved from the items towards, let's say, relationships, or do I actually need to own things nowadays, or can I just kind of borrow? And I mean, I don't really have clear recollections of when I see I mean, I don't want to see the movie. I've seen it, but kind of maybe if I watch the movie again, I remember some kind of specific moments or specific items. But
okay,
I think probably one of the kind of harder parts while getting the items was that at some point when I kind of somehow realized that, why am I doing an experiment about my stuff? Like, what does it tell about me as a person that I'm so interested in my belongings? And I kind of felt a bit kind of shamed, and at some point when I had some kind of order, let's say 50 items or 30 or something, when I'm kind of think, when you start to get along, you can sleep on the bed, and you can go out, and maybe even have a mobile phone or something. So everything's kind of in order, and then you're like, okay, from now on, this the 54th and the 55th or the 56th item, that's actually not going to change my life at all.
That's interesting.
That's it. I mean, okay, I can get another shirt. So then I have 2 shirts.
Yeah.
Great. I have 2 shirts. And what I'm going to do, okay, so it kind of, you can have these kind of small, pleasures or things but there aren't kind of many kind of items that actually kind of change your life. In a way, now when I'm thinking about my life nowadays, many years after or a couple years after the project, I kind of, the things that I kind of have that are kind of important, they do relate to hobbies in a sense, or it's a camera, or it's a laptop. So I think it's about kind of self-expression, or how do I say it in English? Maybe kind of not fulfilling my kind of but kind of expressing myself, or if I go out to run or something, do some sports or something, or I go fishing. It's all related to items and the items that I have, or I don't need to have them. I don't need to own everything, but the items are the things that make it possible. But still, when I look back to the year, I remember that getting a specific item didn't really change anything. And I mean, it depends a little bit like where you live. Of course, a car can be a really crucial item, to be able to move, or logistically, or if you have kids, or I'm not kind of denying, I'm not saying that, you should be able to live like with 0 items and, live this perfect Zen life. But I'm just kind of, when you take out the logistics and feeling of security and being able to eat, there aren't many items that actually change us. They might, so we might be able to do some things, or leisure or hobbies or something, but when it comes to personality and happiness and how you perceive your own life, there ain't really much to do with stuff actually. And that was the experience that I had during the year.
That's pretty deep stuff. That's really good insight. I like that. If you found that place where one more thing wouldn't change your life, I think, the new smartphone, or the new pair of designer jeans, or the next bicycle, or whatever comes out, and if you look at enough ads, I'm pretty convinced that's going to change my life. But it doesn't change my life, It really doesn't.
I mean, things are, when we talk about hobbies or logistics or everything, they get things done, and sometimes yes, you need things, but mostly it's just something that we kind of express ourselves, or it's when you wake up at your home, you have your stuff around you, you have the paintings or whatever, or record shelf. It's a kind of mirror for you, like, this is who I am. Compared that you wake up in a hotel room that doesn't kind of reflect your personality. But and from that experience, it's just so weird that then we just, and you just end up, repeating the, buying or having or owning, or you just end up repeating it like a million times. During, and I still buy things, or I need things, but I just almost every time when I do it, or I have things, I remember, or I'm really self-aware of the, okay, maybe this item doesn't change my life, but it's I'm not thinking like that with every item that I live all the time, but
All right, this is the really last question. So, music, your mom, and movies gave you a lot of hope. Favorite band and song? Pick one. Not just they gave you hope, but if you need to pop something in your earbuds that's going to make you feel better and you're going to rock out to it, what's it going to be?
Yeah. Actually, it's a band called Woods.
Woods, W-O-O-D-S? Okay.
Yeah, W-O-O-D-S, yeah.
Yeah.
And Size Meets the Sound.
Size Meets the Sound by Woods.
Yeah, and it's I did one documentary about, or as part of doing this, about one athlete, like a top tennis player.
Yeah.
And he always, before a match or before a game or something, he had this couple of specific songs that he was listening just before the match.
Yeah, kind of getting his head in the game.
Mood.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, man, that's a great thing. I should do the same thing, you know. So I kind of, and at the time I, bounced into this song, and it became my kind of like anthem or something. So if I would feel slightly depressed, or if I would have an interview that I would kind of a little bit be anxious, or I have to go out, or just yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it has a great how the kind of tempo picks up a bit, and it's just kind of like trendy folky rockish music, but still it's kind of, for me it's my kind of slight kind of anthem.
Awesome. That's great, man. I'm gonna listen to it.
And I have a little bit different kind of anthems for example, for writing.
Yeah.
I have some different anthems, and so the kind of, it's like slightly like a mantra.
Yeah.
So that every time I kind of hear this specific song, because if I've heard the song 1,000 times all over again, it's like you kind of know the song by heart.
Yep.
So you don't actually have to listen to it. So it actually doesn't disturb you. You just get to the mood straight away.
Love it. That's a good idea. It is athletes do that very effectively. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Petri, what fun.
Oh.
Thanks for your time, man. It's great to meet you. It really is.
Yeah.
Tell your fiance she's a great artist. I mean, she's got some cool stuff back there. It really does.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Does she sell it anywhere?
No, it's not all hers.
There's
I'm
tons.
not sure what are hers and what are somebody else's, but yeah.
It's a good collection.
An anthropologist and a painter.
Yeah, wow, smart girl.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
I don't understand what she's doing.
Well, you're the guy running around naked in the street with a camera, so she probably understand you either.
Yeah.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for your time. It's been really fun.
I send you a link for the film, so
yeah, do that.
Have time, you can check
and tell me this: how can we find you on social media? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Where are you at? Websites?
I'm in Twitter and Facebook with my own name.
Okay.
And it's quite there ain't many Petri Luukkainen.
Yeah, I'm gonna spell that for the listeners in case you're not able to hit the website. It's PetriLuukkainen. So that's your handle for all social media that you have, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, we'll put all those on the show notes page or on the interview page for isharehope.com under Petri's name. And then also we'll put his website links on there and a place where you can find documentaries and where he's going to be speaking or whatever. We'll get all that stuff in there. So, man, can't wait to see what you do next. The Naked Bank Robber documentary is coming in 2016. Yeah. All right, man. Good talking to you. Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Yeah.
See ya.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
You've just listened to I Share Hope. If you're ready to make a change, head to our website at isharehope.com and claim your free copy of the Top 10 Actions of Hope from World Leaders to use hope in your own life. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.